our group, we are doing career development for elementary school age children. So to get us started, who here wanted to be something when they grew up? What did you guys want to be?
A dancer.
A dancer. What else?
A marine biologist.
Marine biologist. Anything else? What was it?
Veterinarian.
Okay. So were there any people in your lives who had these jobs, or were there any role models or key figures in your life or in the community that influenced these jobs on you?
Yes. Does Shark Week count?
Shark Week?
Were they actually in your home? No.
Okay, no. Just role models like in the media or in the community? Yeah.
Do you know why we're asking? No.
Well, key figures plays a huge role in children when deciding what kind of career they want. When you said dancer, Regina, was it because like you saw a lot of girls being dancers and they advertised women as dancers, or?
I'd say because I was a dancer, so I was like, oh, so when I grow up, that's what I want to do.
Perfect. Okay. So for today, this is just the abstract. We're going to present a little summary of Chapter 7 in the textbook. We are also going to talk about the career counseling needs for elementary school age children, any mental health concerns they may have, any counselor issues regarding the career development. The main points are going to be what may be effective for career development, counseling strategies using various theories from the text, and any assessments and theoretical approaches. Lastly, we're going to talk about a potential career counseling program that we came up for elementary school age children. So a little bit of background on Chapter 7. We're going to talk about the SUPERS model. It's a model that explains the development of interests and self-control. It recognizes that the basic drive in children is curiosity. Curiosity is satisfied through exploration, and curious activities can lead to the acquisition of information. Before making any career decisions, children need to develop a time perspective or a sense of the future. Self-concept that derives from the child's exploratory behavior, which then leads to acquiring occupational information, imitating key figures, and developing interests. Perception of time plus self-concept equals a planful career decision-making. Let's talk about curiosity. Like mentioned before, it's the basic of all needs. The approach is to understand exploration and the curiosity in children. Curiosity may develop when there are changes in an individual's physical or social needs, and curiosity can be exposed by new objects, new people, or new concepts. Exploration is the act of searching or examining, and curiosity is a need, where exploration is a behavior.
So this leads into Gottfridson's career development theory. So we start off with self-creation theory. So it's how individuals create themselves and interact with environmental factors such as gender and their prestige. And then it's circumscription, which is various factors limit career choices at different ages. And compromise is how an individual modifies choices based on factors such as competitive jobs and insignificant training. So it's basically talking about like what the child would want to do versus the reality of what that child might actually be doing later on in their life. So this is Gottfridson's self-creation theory. So its internal compass is based on genetic features and experiences, guides individuals as they make choices. Cognitive map of occupation is compatible, fits view of oneself, and then accessible, which is occupations one is likely to pursue. So then we have SUPER's key figures, and the key figures in the development of children's self-concept can be useful to counselors. Counselors should listen to what a child learns from his or her observations of role models, suggest that role models can be seen as representing the child's needs, wants, and ambitions. A child's observation of a role model may be inaccurate. Counselors can take advantage of the opportunity by describing the behavior of other key figures or different behaviors of their misperceived key figures. Key figures are likely to make a greater impact because they're more able to observe fast developing, greater amount of control over their own behavior. That's why before we asked you guys about the key figures that you've influenced to be what you wanted when you were a child.
All right, so we have career counseling needs for elementary students. So if school counseling programs fail to adequately support students, especially at-risk elementary students, the result could be social, emotional, and academic and career distress. Career preparation begins in elementary school and continues through the school years and beyond. Students need to receive information about workers in the community and begin to connect education and work. It is the role of the school counselor to help students learn that good work habits and personal responsibility are expected of them, and their decisions have consequences. Participation in the career development programs from kindergarten reduces the potential for at-risk student dropouts. Career counseling needs. The ACA national model encourages school counselors to assist all students in 3 important career developmental goals: the acquisition of skills necessary for the world of work, the ability to make informed career decisions, and the employment of successful strategies to achieve career satisfaction. Students at this age in elementary school are already in the process of circumscription and compromise. They are eliminating career choices based on gender roles as well as level of prestige. School counselors can be most useful when they help young students, especially those who are at risk, to keep options open. Again, career counseling needs continued. Some specific career needs targeted at elementary school age students include the following. There's a systematic process that will enable children to develop sound educational and career plans, the exploration of how the self fits with the specific careers, and a focus on their values, interests, and abilities, not on gender role and stereotypes. The goals of this guidance plan include increasing familiarity with the different careers, exploring careers of interest, enhancing self-awareness, identifying specific values students have that fit with specific careers, learning about specific career requirements, and promoting the importance of staying in school. So the mental health concerns for elementary students. So children spend most of their day in school. In the Spartanburg County School District, officials say it's vital to have mental health resources available to them. It is becoming more common for districts to have a psychologist on staff in schools, but statewide the need remains for more mental health care providers in the school. So right now there's not many health care providers in the school. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's first mental health report collected data on the mental health of children between the ages of 3 and 17 between the years of 2005 and 2011. The data shown on the next slide. So the data shown, as you can see, it's like a lengthy. So it just kind of like breaks it down. So for 6.8%, children were diagnosed with ADHD. 3.5% children were had behavioral or conduct problems. 3% children were diagnosed with anxiety. 2.1% children were diagnosed with depression. 1.1% children were diagnosed with disorder on the autism spectrum, and 0.2% children were diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. And that one was the only one that wasn't elementary specifically, which is between the ages of 6 and 17. It is noted that 1 in 5 children suffer from a mental health or learning disorder, and 80% of chronic mental health disorders begin in childhood. So that's why there's such a big concern for mental health needs for elementary students.
So now we'll talk about the fact that children are an underserved population within career development. According to the book, there is less information on career development in childhood than in any other part of the lifespan. Specifically, according to Portfelli, Hartung, and Modrasek, there is a lack of attention to the career development of children. Often the focus of counseling with children is not career development, and thus counselors miss the opportunity to have influence in the later career of these children in significant
So a major task of counselors should be organizing an occupational information program for young children for or with teachers, since much career development takes place within the classroom. And lastly, counselors should also use a developmental approach to occupations and assessments. According to the research, children are only aware of a small number of occupations to which they are exposed to, such as doctor, firefighter, teacher, police officer, and dentist, and whatever it is that their parents do to make a living. Therefore, there should be learning about other occupations which can broaden their options so that they can increase their odds for when they are looking for a job in the future, and they can narrow down their choices and take the kind of the courses that they need to take when they're in high school or in college. And so we'll talk about some counseling issues that are present with this population. Career counseling with young children can be challenging because children are at the beginning of the career choice process, and counselors are usually in an establishment or maintenance phase. This means that counselors have already gone through the process of making career decisions, assessing their abilities, capacities, and values, and acting upon them, whereas children have not. So it can lead to a lot of issues when doing career counseling with them. Counselors may also have a challenging job to help students avoid stereotyping occupations by race and gender. Counselors can do this by talking with the child about parents and relatives and the work that they do. They can also use occupational information with children of all racial and ethnic groups to put them in a better position for when they are making career decisions in their adolescence years.
So these are some recommendations for effective career development that I found, and this is an article from Carolyn Magnuson and Marion Starr. The article is titled, "How Early is Too Early to Begin Life Career Planning, the Points of Elementary School Years." And they report that helping children to achieve self-fulfillment can benefit the child as they develop. And the later development of skills related to career awareness, exploration, and skill development can increase through an early development of the skills that would be needed for this career awareness. So that basically means the later development is impacting how the child's career awareness was in their early developmental state. And Magnuson and Starr, they list 5 major premises for clarify their research and findings. So their life career development is a lifelong spiraling process. Life career planning includes a series of sub-skills. Career awareness and career exploration form the foundation for effective life career planning. Idiosyncratic factors influence the decision-making of each person. And child development theory and career development theory are interrelated. So these are counseling strategies using Super's theory, and his theory with this is being aware of his explanation of the career development of children can aid to the counselor. Occasionally, in dealing with these negative issues, counselors have the opportunity to make comments that fit with Super's model of childhood career development. This might mean a discussion of the child's exploratory behavior, reaction the child is having experiencing in school, or a positive or negative reaction to the key figures. An awareness of limited time perceptive in children can help the counselor not expecting planful behavior from them. Another area where Super's view can be useful is that the counselor pays the development of interests. So using Goffenson's and Super's, combining with the counseling strategies. When counseling children, they may introduce alternative information about occupational gender roles when discussing exploration, key figures, information, and interests. For an example, if a young girl enjoys studying and watching insects, that has been told by someone that little girls do not like that kind of thing. The counselor can indicate that maybe a view of one individual and emphasis the young girl's pleasure in learning about the insects. So by doing this, counselor is providing alternative information to the young girl and about activities that may lead to an interest in biology.
So now these are a list of assessments that are used when doing career counseling with children. This childhood and career development scale, it provides a means of assessing children's career development. SUPER's model of the career development of children, it includes scales measuring the 8 constructs of SUPER's theory of childhood development. These include curiosity, exploration, information, key figures, internal versus external control, development of interest, time perspective, and self-concept and mindfulness. The Murphy-Myers-Guyer type indicator assesses Myers-Briggs types and can be used for children between the ages of 7 to 13 years old. And personality inventories such as the Children's Personality Questionnaire have been designed to be used with pre-adolescents. The Children's Personality Questionnaire specifically is a self-report personality test that is given to children between the ages of 8 to 12. And it measures their personal, social, and academic development and aspects of their personality. And then these are actual intervention approaches that are used with children. So the experiential career guidance model includes activities designed for preschool children. It is a program that is sensitive to children's limited time perspective. It has activities that focus on the family and home and include a play store and library in which children learn by playing roles as customers, librarian, storekeeper, and so forth. And field trips to children's museums can also help children learn about communication, transportation, and other activities through hands-on play or observation. So thus, this career guidance model is an example of an activity that can consider, or that considers developmental progress and needs of children in career exploration.
So the goal was to come up with a career counseling program for elementary school age children. So we know that schools, they still have career days where parents come in and show off their jobs to the children. Kids go on field trips, community members come in and present their careers to the classrooms. So we wanted to kind of think a little bit outside the box and seeing as though like technology is only getting more exposed to children these ages, we thought it might be a great idea to do a career counseling development app for children. This app is called Elementary Career Explorer. We looked on like app stores, and there are some career games for children, but it's really just, what is this? Oh, this is a dancer or a firefighter. There's no apps out there that really describe what jobs are, and we'll just talk a little bit more about the app, and you can just let us know what you think about it. This app has levels according to grade level and cognitive level of the child. So it could be as detailed or as brief, depending on what setting it's on. So if you're giving it to a first grader, they'll ask different questions versus if you're giving it to a fifth grader. So first, the app is going to ask the child different questions using the assessments. Some of the assessments that they'll use from are Holland Self-Directed Search, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and Children's Personality Questionnaire. We know that children don't want to just read and pick bullets. So it's going to be interactive, it's going to have pictures, it's going to be like a swipe this way or a swipe that way to really get the kids engaged. Some app details, like I mentioned, it will provide interactive assessments that will include pictures and basic terms that children of this age will understand. The app will ask the child if they have any interest in specific activities, ask them if they are curious about certain jobs, skills, or activities. It'll provide pictures, and then they'll say, yes, I'm interested, no, I'm not, do I know what this is, do I not know what that is. The app will also help the child identify if there are any key figures the child has become interested in. So it'll have like a picture of a mailman or a cop and say, have you seen this in your community? Are you interested? Are you not interested? So the app, like I mentioned, will help the child identify any key figures that are in their life by asking them if they know anyone in the following careers. And they'll just pick and choose yes, no, no, yes, and they'll just pick on the careers that they will be interested in. Then the app will match all those answers that the child has provided with any skills to the careers. So kind of like the test that we were doing with like the ENFJ, it will just be more towards like the child. Some more app details. Using Holland's typology of personality and the Murphy-Meisner type indicator, the app will match personalities and skills to potential career choices. It will provide a variety of career options, and the child can explore the options and learn about different career types. This will help the child become aware that the career does exist, which will then allow the child to explore it. The app will also showcase the career without any gender bias. So each job description and tools and concepts are all provided so the child can learn more about the career, and the jobs will be presented to show children that all jobs can be obtainable and any person can do the job. Some more app details. Once the child picks the career that intrigues them, it could be one, it could be more than one, the child will then play an interactive game acting out in that profession chosen. So first the child takes a picture of their face and a uniform is put onto them according to the career. A sense of achievement is happens by acting out in the career as a professional. The child is able to organize and gain a self-understanding and a self-concept and a sense of autonomy and control. So it'll kind of look like this, the little head and the the app will provide the child with the understanding of the tools during the job and the goals and the duty of the job itself. So this just gives the opportunity for the child to just further explore any options there are. Lastly, the child will gain a sense of time perspective and planfulness by getting the information they need it to be in that elementary. But this is in a very elementary way. So for essential skills for teachers, creating a positive learning environment, confidence building, classroom management, and childcare. It'll be very basic since the children are so young. Once the child finishes the app process, they can speak with the school counselor and talk about their experience. The counselor can talk about the child's curiosity, exploration, and learning, as well as any key figures, self-control, and self-concept. The counselor will be able to print out all the stuff that the child did on the app, so it could just be right in front of their face so they can discuss it later on. And it could just be a conversation. It doesn't have to be so professional. Professionals can come into the counseling group to give counselors a closer look at the career choices, and the program can provide the child with the correct resources for an early career development. That's all. Any questions? No one?